Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? I decided to come on early and hang out, talk about this cyclone, also some true crime updates for your early afternoon or evening, wherever you are, or if you're in Australia, it is 11 a.m. in the morning. But it is getting everyone's getting a little worried out there. I've had a lot of emails from people talking about the cyclone, people that have family, friends up there. So I decided to jump on and at least talk to you guys about it, maybe show you a few things, maybe allay some fears, maybe increase some fears. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope everyone is planning, though. Everyone has their plan A, B, and C. It's really important to have the B and C because sometimes whatever you envision as a plan A doesn't work out. And you've always got to have these alternate plans for a cyclone. So always have a secondary idea. Hey Annika, how are you? Good to see you. Hey Lindy, Marlene Clausen, top secret to you, Edget, Jonna, Rachel. I know we're on very early in the day. I know. It's very early. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Let me take you over to just sort of what's the coverage? Like what is the coverage in Australia? What's going on down here right now with the cyclone? So let me show you. So there's been flight cancellations. That's one of the updates this morning. They're saying travelers headed to or from Ballina Byron Gateway Airport are facing trouble as Jetstar, Qantas, and Virgin Australia cancel flights from the holiday hotspot. They say Jetstar cancelled two flights from Sydney and one from Melbourne. And they say it's three flights departing from Ballina, like the return flights, will also be cancelled. They say Qantas and Virgin Australia each axed their Wednesday service in and out of Ballina. And they're saying Virgin also cancelled its service for Thursday as well. And they're saying here the update comes as the Bureau warns Cyclone Alfred could redevelop into a Cat 3. It is possible. I'll show you some of the satellite images and why it kind of looks like that. I will show you that in a minute. Dane? I don't know who Dane is, but you have to let me know. Rachel said, I'm also watching storms in the US, worried about family in Alabama. We can check that out too. I know that there was storms out of Texas today. I know that there was tornado warnings and a tornado watch issued. I haven't really seen too much else. I've been concentrating on the cyclone. So we can have a look, though. We can have a look. Hey, guys, good to see you. Coming to you from a pretty mild Melbourne today. A pretty mild Melbourne. Oh, the little 2-year-old. Yes, yes. I know who you're talking about now. Sorry. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Yeah, coming to you from a very mild Melbourne. It's not super hot here today, or it might be, but I'm not hot. It's going to be 32 today. Good work, Ping. Good work. It's mild right now, but going to be up to 32 degrees later today. All right, let me show you what's going on the news right now. So this is the warning zone that they've put in place from the Bureau. So that's what we call our National Weather Service. Down here, we call it the Bureau of Meteorology. And 650k warning zone from near Double Island Point all the way down to just north of Grafton. So a long warning area stretching two states, Queensland and northern New South Wales, which we talked about last night. We said northern New South Wales would have to be under, they'd have to be prepared too. This was not just going to be a Queensland thing. Northern New South Wales was also going to have issues. They're also saying the suburbs most at risk are Surfers Paradise, Paradise Point, and Eleanora. They're saying here the Brisbane Lord Mayor urged residents in these areas to evacuate. They say these 20,000 properties could experience anything from minor inundation to significant flooding inside their homes. According to the Queensland Premier, he urged residents to stay on their guard and prepare for the possible destruction of the incoming storm. The major factors being prepared for by authorities are wave swell and erosion, damage by destructive wind, and significant rain, which could lead to flooding. They said a 7-meter wave had already been recorded off North Stradbroke Island overnight. They said that should give you some indication that this is a serious cyclone, and those reports will continue and maybe even get worse. So that is pretty bad. They're saying the SES is leading the response in New South Wales with other emergency services and government agencies. Residents of the Northern Rivers and Mid-North Coast have been warned to prepare for damaging winds, large surf, and heavy rainfall, with low-lying areas at risk of coastal erosion. From Wednesday onwards, intense rain is predicted, which could lead to moderate or major flooding in many areas, with the potential to close roads and inundate properties and lead to evacuations. So here's a 7-day precip model, and you can see as far south as Foster Tuncurry down here. Oh no, it's Forster, Forster Tuncurry down here, and Port Macquarie, Coffs Harbour, Grafton, and all the way as far north as maybe, I'm not sure what suburb is up here, but maybe like Noosa, maybe as far as Noosa. This is Maroochydore, the Sunshine Coast right here, but maybe like Noosa and even further north. So you see this huge whack of blue and purple right here. But even if you go south, there is a lot of rainfall for Sydney and out into the west over the Blue Mountains over here. You're even getting some pretty crazy rain near Dubbo and even Coonabarabran. So you're getting some intense rainfall all over the state, especially over Queensland and New South Wales in the north and the south. But you can see there. Woos says, I'm worried for, yeah, I know, I read your email before. I think if you're in Tweed Heads or Lismore, just keep an eye on the local advice. Make sure you are, you know, up to date. Take it seriously. If they tell you have to move, you should move as soon as possible. Don't be like, I was here for the one in 74. They didn't do anything to us. We fought it off, and then we had beers in the pub afterwards. Well, just the technology is a little better these days, and we seem to understand what the risk is better than 40 years ago. So maybe just keep an eye out on the warnings and advice. Don't be like, we'll fight it back with all our might. You can do that too, but make sure you evacuate. No, no, no. I am very far away. The rain won't even reach where I am, I don't think. I am very, very far south. I am very far away from it. It will not affect me. I can show you actually. So the cyclone's up here to the middle right here. Ping is all the way down here, down in this southernmost state of Australia called Victoria. I'm down in this little corner here. So I am, hundreds of kilometers or miles away from it. So it's not going to affect me. I'm good. I'm good. Wu says Canberra's going to get some. Oh, we might get some when it eventually moves through and turns into an ex-tropical system. Wu says, well, one brother went shopping and amongst his supplies was a bottle of gin and some scratchies. Sounds very Australian. Rachel said, I'm hoping people are prepared and ready to evacuate if the need arises. As far as I know, some people have already moved from low-lying areas. Hopefully that continues. Here, let me take you to Windy and I'll show you the progression overnight. I'll show you why they're wondering if this might turn into a Cat 3. Look, the chance is low. The chance I saw was like 15% out of 100. So it's still very low. But hey, 15% is not zero. All right, let's show you this. So you can see the cyclone finally made that turn, starting to head towards landfall now. But you're starting to see more symmetry with this particular cyclone. When it was further north, it was very lopsided. It was like one side heavy. It really didn't have very good growth across the center circulation here, the low. And with most of the thunderstorm development was on the south side of the cyclone, which is normal. But if you were looking at a strong one, it would be you would see more building towers or what we call like hot towers in the center here, and there's more action here now. It's not great, but it's more than it was about 2 days ago. 2 days ago, this was vacant, and you had a very, very translucent center of the cyclone. It was not very impressive, but now you're starting to see if you put a cross through the cyclone that these quadrants all look very symmetrical side to side. And this is when you start getting something that's a little more organized, a little more impressive on the radar satellite, and normally shows you something that's strengthened a little bit. I don't see any rapid intensification here. There's no, I think it's, what is it? You have to get a millibar drop plus a 30 knot wind increase, and I don't think we got that overnight. So not rapid intensification, but there is some intensification. It went from like a Cat 1 to a Cat 2. May end up going a higher Cat 2 throughout its life, maybe a Cat 3, but it'd be pretty low. Top secret to you says looks pretty wicked now. Looks different than it did a couple of days ago. Here, I'll show you what it looked like a couple of days ago. Here, is this it? Yeah, no, that's a different one. That's a different one. That's an American one. All right, let me see. I've got photos, I'm sure. Is this one? No, that's from today. I must not have one. I thought I had a screenshot from the other day. I must not have one, but the other day we did a thumbnail of it, and it was just, yeah, not as symmetrical, not as round, not as circle. So what you're looking for is you want that to be more of a complete circle, and you see all these bands feeding in, and they should all look like, if you cut it in half, it should look the same. And that's what you're seeing here. You're looking like almost a perfect circle now, as where before it had a very lopsided, very south heavy. The eye was not very circular. It was almost like a oval shape, which I think it was a Cat 1 at the time. So you are seeing that somewhat better organization of the hurricane cyclone. Damn, having to think in American and then Australian all the time, it gets me. Wu says hasn't been a cyclone there for 51 years since 1974. It does. This circle looks pretty nasty. Yeah, and you can see that the impacts here, especially the places where it's most populated, is going to get hit by what we call the dirty side of the storm here, this south side quadrant. And that's where all that thunderstorm activity is right now. Um, yeah, let me try and switch to a different. Let's go to the radar. So you're already seeing bands of storms come ashore here throughout the Gold Coast and Brisbane, and even further inland and north, and even further south. I saw some predictions for down in this region, because these bands down here are going to contain some pretty heavy rain, and they are going to come through and affect through this region here near Grafton. And some of the totals for here are pretty high. And then you have the second one up here. This one's going to come through just south of the border through this region, and again, high totals, very high totals. And then you have the third, what I call like the third part, which is up here, and you're going to get it on the south of Brisbane. And it's, before they had it going, it had a bit of a wobble, and it's pretty normal with cyclones or hurricanes. And they thought it was going to go a little further north by the time it made landfall. But now it actually looks like it may actually go a little further south. This morning's prediction said it's going to come actually a little further south than they thought last night. So we'll see. Natasha says, Aussie friends, stay safe. Yeah, I hope everyone in Brisbane is taking it very seriously. It looks much more impressive than it did like Monday, Sunday night. Sunday night, it just didn't look like anything to really. Not that you should never worry about it. Anytime you have a tropical storm that has a category attached to it, you should take it very seriously. But it was a very disorganized Cat 1 at that point, and it didn't look that great. But now it looks, yeah, very different. All right, let me take you over here. So they had some flood mapping. Now it's not perfect because they don't really have a lot to compare it against, being that it's 1974 was the last time. If I can go here, and even then, I don't think it's very complete. Yeah, even if I do 1974, it's not showing me a great deal. But if we turn on this one. The website is getting hammered right now by people, and it's not loading particularly well. All right, let me try and reload. So this is the Brisbane Council flooding information, and you can see some of these low-lying areas, but I'm not expecting it to be this bad. But let me take the layers off. That one. Yeah, see, it's not. This would be that one. All right. This is just river, creek, and storm tide. So this would be like a really bad scenario, but you can see some of these low-lying areas. I don't expect it to be this bad where it's like 5 streets back, but you never know, especially with some of these waterways. You can see some of the flooding areas, especially like, yeah, these little barrier island type areas. You can see how far back some of it does come. If I go down, let's go down the Gold Coast. Let's see if they have data for it. Let's go Brisbane. Yeah, see, it's not loading correctly. You see all these gray areas. Yeah, not loading great. Caboolture, Brisbane, yeah, it's loading pretty poor. I might have to look for a separate one, but yeah, you can see some of it, especially like these areas right on the water. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like this bad, but you can see where some of that flood water may come up to. They're saying this roundabout gets pretty flooded right here. And yeah, I'll try and find one for the Gold Coast. Hold on. Because that's probably going to be one of the target areas. All right, hold on, guys. Gold Coast. So here we go. They got some photos of it. So this is from the Gold Coast Council showing projected flood levels from Cyclone Alfred. And you see some of these areas are just completely underwater, like Paradise Point. That's one of the areas we had in the warning earlier that I read out. Was this is one of their main concentrated warning zones right now, which is Paradise point. And yeah, you can see how far it comes back here, all through like one, two, three, almost four streets back. And then the esplanade here. This is, yeah, you can see just how far some of that water getting pushed over onto land is going to come back. Wow, it almost covers the entire thing in one point here. And then again here, the waterways spill, and then you're going to get inundation all the way back here. It's pretty bonkers. This is down in the Gold Coast region. So there's some more examples. Let me see if I can put them up on the big screen here. So there you go. This is Angler's Paradise, and this is that suburb. And you can see all this blue is water, and the orangey brown color is normal land, or streets and that type of thing. Bigera waters here. You can see the water inundation coming through. Let me see if we can get another one. Here we go. There's a good example. So a lot of main roads getting some sort of flooding, and even large like 4-lane type streets getting inundated. So it is very serious. Very Yeah. Let me play this video for you of someone talking about cyclone.
Where the scenario track map is actually changing a little bit. Some takes it north, some takes it central. But as the acting mayor said, the outcome for the Gold Coast could see the high end. The high-end model looks to 1,000+ millimetres in the hinterland. That's at the worst case model. And then across the city ranges between 400 and 600 millimetres, and that's changing. So what we've taken the step to do today is to provide the community with information. This map has been taken on the scenario that, and where we say the worst case scenario would be that this cyclone crosses the coast anywhere north of us at high tide. And what that would see would be 1 metre on top of the high tide, impacting as a storm surge. So with 1 metre storm surge, and then
For people saying it's very low, it shouldn't be. It is so loud on my side that I've had to turn my volume really far down because it is blaring. Because whenever I played volume video from a whatever, I have a app that I boost the audio. So if you've ever watched my shows before and I play a video, you'll hear like at one level, and then a couple seconds into the video it'll jump. And that's because I've turned on the audio boost for it. But this is, I think, as loud as I can make it. Yeah, it is. I know he's a little quiet, but it's the loudest I can make it.
600 millimetres of rain modelled from starting late Wednesday all the way through to Friday. That's the model that we see. The map doesn't indicate depth. It's not a warning map. And that's the specific thing. This is a planning map for the community. It's a map to bring to attention as to where the waterway may lie within the impact of this system, and for you then to make a plan. We're asking Gold Coasters to have a plan by 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and then start enacting that plan. So you should have so from 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, you should be starting to settle in and understanding where it is that you're going to be. We are opening evacuation centres, as the acting mayor said, for those that have nowhere else to go. But we absolutely urge you, friends and family, you're going to be far more comfortable if you can stay with others, that particularly in unaffected areas of the city.
All right. So what they're asking for is they're asking for people in this region around the Gold Coast area to have a plan of action by 5 o'clock today, to know where you're going and to know basically what you're going to do before the cyclone hits. And they're saying you'll be much better off if you can organize to go stay with family outside of the region for for a few days, or the weekend, and not rely on emergency services to help you once the cyclone hits the area. So they're saying by 5 o'clock today, they want all residents to have a plan, put it into action, and know what you're going to do, because they don't want to have to go out in the middle of a hurricane and go rescue people because they didn't plan ahead. Now, of course, they will, but they really don't want to, because every time you do that, every time you just go, oh, I'll be all right, I'm just going to see it out, and you get into trouble, they have to send someone to come and rescue you. You're putting that person's life at risk along with your own. Now, I can tell you from following hurricanes in America, the amount of people that inundate 911 or 000, calling centers during a hurricane or cyclone is insane. There are people that are like, "Oh, I have elderly parents here, and the water's coming up to the roof," and you feel terrible for them. But they told you to evacuate early for a reason, and now you're in a bit of a pickle, and they have to make a decision whether to send out a crew in the middle of a deadly hurricane or cyclone and try and help you. The amount of people who have heart attacks during a cyclone and hurricane is pretty high. There's always, every time there's a cyclone or hurricane, I always hear in the media following the event, oh, there was a call for a heart attack. There was a call for this. There was a pregnant woman who went into labor, which is, awful, because I'm sure that's not the way she wanted her birth to happen. But it does happen. And to think that maybe it won't be you is a very ignorant way to live your life, because it does happen a ton. Yeah, let me try and find one from the cyclone that hit Florida last year. Give me a sec.
A mandatory evacuation order has been issued for Evacuation Zone A. Those needing to evacuate should have their evacuations completed. Orders for
I'm stuck. I need to be evacuated. I've called a couple times. I just need to know what's going on. If I need to try to swim out of here.
I need you to take a breath, okay? I see that you've already put a call in. It does look like we do have some help on the way, okay?
But when?
They're on the way to help you. They're coming as fast as they safely can.
That could be hours.
I understand that this is a scary situation, but we need to make sure that everyone stays safe.
I don't know what to do. Should I get on the roof? Should I try to swim out? I'm sorry. I get freaked out because they say somebody will call me back or somebody will be, and I don't do anything. I know it's been a short amount of time, and I know this is my fault.
We stayed in our house, myself and my 8-year-old, and we were fine until one of the sandbags washed away and water started coming in the house, and our stove started sparking and catching on fire. And so we got into my vehicle, and we are now stuck in my vehicle, and water is rising, and we can't get out.
I'm stuck. I was in a mandatory evacuation, and I'm stuck. I flooded around. My car, I don't know if it's gonna make it. It's like the street's completely flooded, and I know, I just don't know what to do. This is the first time it's happened to me.
I had no idea until I woke up about an hour ago that I stepped down into water, and it's just getting higher and higher. We just cannot get out. And I'm by a lake, which I believe it has gators, so we definitely can't even walk out into this.
Pinellas County 911 received more than 60 calls from people who did not evacuate during Hurricane Idalia. The storm made landfall around 8 a.m. as a major hurricane some 200 miles north of Pinellas County.
Now, I'm not trying to show that to anyone to scare people. I'm showing it to everyone to make sure you understand that during these type of events, emergency services are just as hamstrung as you are. Like they can't always get to you. They can't always prioritize you because they've got to, one, make sure their crew is safe, and two, there could be 30 other calls that are more important or would save the lives of more people rather than just you. So you have to understand that during these events, the system is not running efficiently. It's not running the way it normally does. And help, as you heard, can be a long way away. It can be hours away. It may never come. It could come the next day after the hurricane or cyclone has passed your area. So just this is why they tell you. That's why that guy had that talk before. Have a plan. Make sure you think of everything possible and protect your life first, your family's life first, and just leave early. Leave early. That way you don't have to be in this situation because you're not there. So that's why they like people to move quickly and a couple of days beforehand. That way you don't get stuck in traffic. You don't have to make a life and death decision like these people you heard. So I hope no one has to go through that in Australia. I really do. This was a major hurricane, so slightly different, but the message is the same. Make sure you are prepared. Don't be like, "Oh, I had a nap and I woke up and the water's at my ceiling." No, no, like that's not that's not a good idea. So, Woman of Steel said I'd be the first one out. Yeah, I would probably move pretty quickly too because I just understand how bad storm surge can be. So if you're in a storm surge area and they've already issued warnings, if you have a mate you can go stay with that's further inland, if you have friends that live in a place that's not in like right on the water, maybe you can go hang out with them for a few days, or maybe you got family that lives in the western part of Queensland. Maybe you can go see auntie and uncle that you haven't seen in about 3 years, but maybe you can go hang out with them. Top secret too. Yeah, I know, I get it. Betty C says, "Glad I live in Ohio. No hurricanes." Well, I'm sure you have other things like Ohio. Um, yes. Rachel says, "It's different, but we always have a risk of wildfires here, and during that season, I'm always ready to go with go bags and a dog tote." Flying DJ says, "Spreadsheet notary Danny Mitchell did not immediately hit the like button." Danny, what are you doing? Top secret to you, so or they can all go to pings. No, they can't. Sorry, this hotel is full, unfortunately. But I'm so far south, they would probably, by the time they drove here, the cyclone would be over, and just have to turn around and go back to Queensland. But yeah, it's very, very serious. And when you see flooding like this, like I don't want to be like someone who's trying to make this more than it is. Just we want everyone to be able to live, and if property is damaged, you're not going to be able to stop it. That's the funny thing. I think some people think if they stay, they can fight off the water. When it is this much water, with this much force behind it from the hurricane and the wind and all that type of thing, nothing you do really is going to stop it. Do you know what might? Is preparing. So get your sandbags, get your tarps out, take everything inside that can fly around. make sure that is secured, and get out of there if you're in one of these areas that may experience very bad inundation. I think that's the message that they have been trying to put out anyway. Let's see. All right, let me take you to the ABC and listen to the Bureau update. Hold on. If it'll load, apparently things are not wanting to load. Okay, tropical cyclone Alfred. All right, Alfred. Yeah, I want to go. Yeah. Not that one though. Oh, actually, they're playing a live update from the premiere. Let me take you to that.
Low-lying areas or who are vulnerable, we will do all we can to ensure you stay connected. Now, I mentioned the door knocking. We've got nearly 500 Queensland Police recruits who are out and about, getting their first taste of community service before they graduate. We've got people from Fire and Rescue, the SES, and councils across this area have done a marvellous amount of work ensuring that people are there to go door to door, but also stay connected on the website. Listen to your media platform of choice. Talk to your friends. Make sure your neighbours know about it. Now's a great time to get to know your neighbours if you don't, and talk to them about it. It's really important that people understand that the threat is real, be prepared, and to know that we are doing the work to be prepared as well, and we'll continue to do that. We've had a particular focus on nursing homes, aged care, health services, those sleeping rough, and we're doing all we can to make sure that we get those people out of harm's way as quickly as we can. There are some evacuations of some of those low-lying nursing homes that are being planned and will be done during the course of the day. And in the case of those homeless, we continue to go and reach out and offer accommodation to anyone who is there, and we will continue to make that offer to those in the hours ahead. To give Queenslanders some assurance and some confidence about how seriously we're taking this, I just want to go through some of the pre-deployments that we have done. And I've spoken to you in recent days about getting generators ahead of the game, making sure we've got health staff on some of those islands, for example. I've spoken about working with the telecommunications to make sure they've got backup power. We've spoken about increasing the bandwidth capacity for bulk messages to go out. But here's a snapshot of some of the things that have unfolded in very recent days and hours. Rescue vessels have been deployed to places like the Gold Coast to make sure that some of those people living in those storm-tide areas, like those canals, that we have resources at places like the Gold Coast and the Redlands and beyond. Brisbane, we have rescue assets positioned along the river. 180 swiftwater rescue personnel right here in the impacted area. Additional Queensland Fire Department recruits have also been tasked, along with those Queensland Police Service recruits I spoke of yesterday. Aircraft, including helicopters with winch capabilities, are on standby. The ADF resources are now also ready to respond, and the ADF's response, quite frankly, has been excellent, and I'll get the Prime Minister to comment on that in a moment. We have 1,000 Ergon Energy crews ready to respond once the system goes through, and partnering with that, we have some private contractors who will work with them to clear the debris so they can reconnect power lines, because restoring electricity in these events is such a huge, huge thing that needs to occur to enable the recovery to move on. So I just want to remind Queensland, I've been speaking about 3 phases of this. Spoke about the first, which was the big surf and the erosion. We have seen that in multiple places of the coast, and I've spoke at length about the risk to the Caloundra community because of the breakthrough at the northern part of Bribie. We are now moving into the second phase, and that's that damaging and destructive winds. And Queenslanders will increasingly start to see that overnight and into tomorrow. And it's important that as that system approaches and crosses, that people stay ready for it and do all the preparations ahead of it. And then it'll move into the third phase. And I really want Queenslanders to understand how important that is. And that third phase is that significant rain. that major and moderate flooding that will come from it. I have seen how well Southeast Queenslanders have responded to flooding in the past. This system will certainly challenge large parts of our coastline. And it is important that, as you do with any flooding event, that you take the precautions for you and your family. And that involves actively knowing the things that you need to do ahead of it. But a system like this does generate significant rain. And it is important that people are ready for that third phase long after those destructive winds disappear and beyond into the weekend.
I'm going to pause it here for a minute. So this is the Premier of Brisbane here, and is that Albanese? That's our Prime Minister of Australia to his left there. They're just giving an update on this. Let me see. You're late twice in less than 24 hours. I'm going to leave this because I don't really care what Albanese has to say. He's just going to blab some crap that no one cares about right now. I'd rather listen to the Bureau of Meteorology. They would have a somewhat better idea. All right, let me take you back over here. By the way, they put out a new map. Let's have a look. I want to show you. This is the new cyclone forecast map. And you can see it took this really weird path, did this loop here, went a little bit north, came a little bit south, and then sort of headed north again. And then it takes they're forecasting, it'll take another little dip here. And it looks like it's going to hit right between these North Stradbroke Island. In the gap here is where the eye might pass through just, and then hit slightly, almost right on Brisbane, but maybe slightly to the north. And they were saying in that press conference, Caloundra, which is the southern part of the Sunshine Coast, if it's south of Maroochydore. That is a pretty big area. Sounds like they are going to have maybe some bad events or bad flooding, unfortunately. And I actually know quite a lot of people in Caloundra. I actually lived there for a long period of time and know the area quite well. And that's very sad to hear because Caloundra is a fun place. A lot of good people that live there. All right, let me take you over here. Yep. Yeah, just let me refresh this. Let's go to the satellite. Yeah, let me play this for you while I grab the next thing. It's yeah, it looks much more impressive on the radar in the last 24 hours. Let's go over here. Let me see if there's any better updates for you. Urgent warning issued to New South Wales residents. According to them, they're saying how many rain? They're saying here in northern New South Wales, so that is below the Queensland border, it's predicted to have winds of up to 120 kilometers an hour, with some areas expecting 700 millimeters of rain. That is a lot of rain for a region that's already had a lot of rain. They're saying the Northern Rivers Hotel in North Lismore just recently reopened after sustaining massive damage in the floods 3 years ago and is now preparing for Cyclone Alfred. They said obviously there's a little bit of angst in the area, just unsure what's going to happen, according to their hotel manager. They say it's a bit nerve-wracking for locals at the moment. I could understand it being very nerve-wracking, especially for everyone that's not quite sure where it's going to hit, how bad it might be. Queensland has a very big history with floods. Same with northern New South Wales. They both have quite an extensive history with flooding from cyclones, from rain, from all sorts of things. Here's one from a couple of years ago. This was from 2022, and you can see what should be a road that is now a river. and there are people on boats traversing that road instead of driving. So those poor people are probably very sick of the rain and the flooding. Woos says, right where my brother, one of my brothers live. I hope they're going to be okay. I really do. It's I'm sure if they're going to do evac, they'll call it probably within the next 24 hours, probably within the next 12 hours. If they were going to do an evac, they're going to call it soon. Yeah, they're saying still one of the suburbs most at risk is Paradise Point. They are really doing an emphasis on that. Let me play you the update from the Bureau here.
Hello from the Bureau of Meteorology. It's just gone 5:30 in the evening on Tuesday, Queensland time, 6:30 p.m. New South Wales time. That means we've just had the most recent forecast track map for Tropical Cyclone Alfred issued, and alongside that track we have seen a whole lot of new severe weather warnings issued for eastern parts of Australia as Tropical Cyclone Alfred approaches. It's only a couple of days away now, so we're really honing in on the when and the where of Tropical Cyclone Alfred's arrival. Let's get into the latest information, starting with the current position of Alfred, which is still the best part of 600 kilometres east of the country, around about in line with the state border. Importantly, during the day on Tuesday, we have seen Alfred shift direction. It had been moving southeastwards for several days, but it's taken a bit of a U-turn and has now started its track westwards back towards the country. It is expected to continue on that westerly trajectory throughout the day on Wednesday as a Category 2 tropical cyclone. That means in the coming days, as Alfred approaches the country, it's estimated the winds rolling around Alfred at the moment are somewhere around 100 kilometres an hour, gusting up towards 150 kilometres an hour. Alfred is likely to reach southeast Queensland either very late in the day on Thursday or very early in the day on Friday morning. And we'll just zoom in a little bit to get a better idea of the crossing point. What we have here is the most likely track that Alfred will take, which suggests a crossing between Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast, likely as a Category 2 tropical cyclone, very late Thursday or very early on Friday. The tropical cyclone warning is shown here in orange, and that runs from Double Point Island, north of Gympie in Queensland, down to Yamba in New South Wales. That's the area where gale force winds are expected to kick in within the next 24 hours. There are a whole lot more severe weather warnings, and I want to go through them one weather element at a time, starting with the heavy rainfall and the associated flooding. For many people, rain and flooding will be the most significant part of this weather event. With Tropical Cyclone Alfred several hundred kilometres offshore at the moment, most of the rain is out over open waters, and we've just seen some showery weather across eastern parts of both southern Queensland and northern New South Wales. Rain will build across the east of the country on Wednesday, but the heavy falls are really expected to arrive on Thursday, with the potential for locally intense falls near and south of Alfred's crossing point on Thursday evening and Friday morning. Because of that, we've got this pretty large severe weather warning area for heavy rainfall. This has just been issued. It runs from north of Noosa Heads or just south of Fraser Island Gari all the way down to Smoky Cape here in New South Wales. We could easily see several hundred millimetres of rain across a 24-hour period when Alfred approaches.
All right, I'll leave it there. But yeah, several hundred millimeters of rain. That is a lot of rain. Juicy Jules says, hi, Pingettes. Hi, my friend. How are you, Juicy Jules? Good to see you. Woo says, Bribey Island will get hit. Yes, Bribey Island will get quite a lot of surf, rain, possible inundation. Sheriff said signs that little boy Dane was at the edge of the river. Was that the boy that they didn't do the Amber Alert for? Because they said it didn't meet the criteria. Rachel said, I hadn't seen that. I just thought I'd check that area. Let me see. Let's take a break from Cyclone for a second. Hold on. Yeah, 3 hours ago was the latest update. Search enters 4th day. Let me play you the update for you from him.
State of Oregon, where the search continues for a missing 2-year-old boy. Dane Paulson was last seen Saturday in the front yard of his family's home. Crews are now searching the surrounding area and nearby river in hopes of finding him safe and alive. Deputies say he is friendly and fearless. He loves water, but he can't swim. And they say at this time there's no evidence to suggest criminal actions are involved. Dozens of search and rescue members have been joined by volunteers looking for this little boy. The search effort has already covered nearly 400 acres.
It's been physically hard, but nothing compared to what the family's going through. And our hearts go out to them. And the community has just stepped up so much. We've never really had anything like that this close to home.
Well, officials say the boy was last seen wearing a gray fuzzy hoodie with ears, blue and white shoes, and black pants. He has brown hair and green eyes, and just praying that they find him.
Hold on. Let me get out of there. It says here, this was their media release. I don't see a live for that sheriff, but no, like 8 weeks ago. Must be on his personal page. But they're saying here, this was the update. They said Sheriff Shanks and the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office will be providing an in-person update. Okay, so that was that update. Let me have a look. Da, da, da. Let me check here. It's not showing it for me. Maybe because I'm Australian. They're racist. They're saying here, yeah, just what their next steps will be. Okay. Yeah, okay. It doesn't really show me, but there's that area. There's that river that they're going to check or have started checking. They said here groundwater air searches, and the investigative team is following up on leads. Anytime you see a giant body of water like this, I always get very nervous when there's a missing child. I mean, last summer in the USA alone, I think in a 1 month period, we had 10 children who died from going into the water. Most of them were autistic children, but they all passed away after getting out of their homes and falling into some body of water. So I would be very distressed to hear if that's the same case for Dane, because I don't want to start that again for this coming warm season in America. That would very, very suck. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of missing children. Lindy says, I hate seeing how close that river is to the house. It is not a good thing. Hey, Aussie True Crime, how are you? I'm not near Queensland. I am far south. Yeah, JLR covered a press conference. I can't use anything from JLR, unfortunately. I'm not allowed to. Well, not that I'm not allowed to. I just wouldn't do that anyway. Just because I'm not going to take someone's content from them. All right. Let's see. Lincoln County Sheriff. I'm surprised that they didn't do one on the Facebook page. Let me check within the last hour. No, not 24 hours. You silly thing. Hold on. Past hour. There we go. 12 minutes ago from KATU. Oh, that didn't help. What are they saying here? All right, let me show you this. This was posted only 12 minutes ago. They're saying the search for a 2-year-old toddler who went missing from his residence in Oregon this past weekend is continuing into Tuesday as authorities and community volunteers intensify their efforts. Dane was last seen on March 1st, 2025, playing in the yard of his residence. He was wearing a gray fuzzy hoodie with ears, blue and white shoes, and black pants at the time of his disappearance. He has brown hair and green eyes. They say the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, in collaboration with the Sillet's Valley Fire, Oregon State Police, Newport Police Department, Lincoln City Police Department, and the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue, has been conducting extensive groundwater and air searches. Drones equipped with cameras and thermal imaging are being utilized in the search. Tracking canines, watercraft, and human behavior tracking resources are also being deployed, according to officials. That is a lot of resources trying to find that little boy. They're saying KATU reached out to the family, volunteers, and other community members for interviews, many of whom respectfully declined to comment at this time. Authorities described the boy as friendly and fearless and comfortable around strangers and water, but cannot swim. Dane is known to love water and vehicles. And they say, as a father of two kids, I can't imagine what the family is going through. Yeah, they're saying they do have a fence separating the river and the property. Interesting. But here you go. You can see some of those searchers trying to look at the riverbank to see if there's anything there. They say a vehicle and an adult male unknown to the family were spotted near a bridge close to the residence about 30 minutes before Dane went missing. However, after investigation, they no longer considered a point of interest. During a press conference on March 2nd, the spokesperson elaborated their decision not to push out an Amber Alert, saying they didn't believe criminal actions were involved and that the case did not meet the criteria for the alert. Yeah. So no Amber Alert because it didn't meet the criteria, but they also can't find this little kid either. You know, those rivers make me very nervous. Johnna says you just can't keep your eyes off young children. They get into danger very quickly. Yeah, they do. Danny says, I didn't watch it. I just saw his headline. Yeah, I'd be very worried if, you know, I hope he's not in the water, but the amount of cases that we have had where a kid has gone missing and been found in the water, it's like astronomical, the odds of anything else, especially when you've got a giant river behind the home. I mean, I hope not, and I hope he's been wandering the forest with a friendly bear who's keeping an eye on him. I'd prefer that to the kid being found in the water. Let's see. A lot of rain. Yeah, you can see it in some of the photos. Annika says, can't imagine that poor family. I know. But other than that, they're just going to keep searching, they said. They're going to keep trying to find Dane. Let me see if I can find a photo of him. There's no photo in the article. Let's see. Oh, there is a little photo at the top. Hold on, I want a better photo. This will do. So this is like the only photo they've put out so far of him. And there's one, a slightly different one on a missing child poster that they have put out. Baby Dane. Yeah. So there you go. This was Dane is only 2 years old, last seen at his home in Kernville, Oregon, on the 1st of the 3rd around 5:30 p.m. So there's another little photo of him. Oh, is he dressed up like Woody? In this little photo here, you can see it looks like he's dressed up like Woody. There you go. In this photo in the middle here. Is that like a little Toy Story outfit that he's wearing? How cute. Yeah, hopefully he's out there picking berries with a gentle bear who's being his friend. Rachel said all states need alerts when it doesn't meet an Amber Alert. Yeah, there should be an alert for missing child that doesn't meet Amber Alert. So I don't know, something like, I don't know, missing child alert. Something that's not an abduction or a car related, just a missing kid. That's what they need. Amber alerts are good, but they only work for like an abduction where there's a vehicle and they have a license plate, and there's quite a few criteria that they need to meet. So it'd be good to have maybe like I don't know, under 10, so like 10 years and under or something, like an urgent alert for children. Okay, let me see. Woodland Creature said, here's hoping for the magical safety bear that will help baby Dane come home. I hope so. You know, those woodland creatures, they do like to help people sometimes. All right, let's see what else we have here. Someone shot and killed someone at a steakhouse. Why? I hear Roger Smith in Texas. All right, let's go to Texas if I can. Fox 59. Nope, that didn't work. Sometimes these links don't work for me. Yeah. According to the Kansas City Star, fight inside Texas Roadhouse ends with man. Hey, go away. Ends with man fatally shot in parking lot, according to Indiana cops. Okay, it's not Texas. It's the restaurant is called Texas Roadhouse. So it's in Indianapolis. So they're saying an Indianapolis man is facing criminal charges after police say he fatally shot a man at a Texas roadhouse. Randy Godfrey, 34, was arrested and charged with murder, according to a news release from Indianapolis Metro PD. Just before 9 p.m. February 28th, police were called to a report of a fight inside a restaurant. Before arriving, they got a call that that person had been shot. Godfrey was at Texas Roadhouse having dinner with 5 people, including 2 children and 32-year-old Blaine Smith. While at the restaurant, a fight broke out between Godfrey and Smith. An off-duty IMPD officer was at the restaurant and intervened in the fight. The officer was holding Godfrey on the ground while Smith went outside. Wish reported citing an affidavit. The officer identified herself as a cop to Godfrey, who responded by saying, "I don't give a beep if you're a police officer." Then pushed the officer off, saying, "I'm going to shoot that beep," according to court records. They say the off duty officer ran outside towards the gunfire and held Godfrey at gunpoint until police arrived. They say, "I'm proud of our officer whose bravery and quick actions, even while off duty, led to the safe apprehension of this suspect. The officer's actions reflect the dedication and commitment of all our officers to protect, serve, and keep our communities safe on or off the clock." They say Smith was found with a gunshot wound and was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. And now Mr. Godfrey is facing a murder charge. So, Jesus, what the hell? And good work to the officer for protecting the community even while off duty. That is dedication. No information about Clinton at all. I have nothing. Nothing. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. His sister has not posted anything on Facebook either. I don't know what the hell's going on with that one. I thought we were very close to, a resolution, but apparently not. Apparently not yet. I'm just trying to see if there's anything here. Let's see. Clinton. All right, hold on. I'm just going to search his name here. All right, I'm just going to see if I can find his sister or not. They're saying, yeah, no update. Wait. Nope. That's not an update. I'm just trying to see if there is anything from anyone involved. Doesn't seem that there is. Anything here? No. Nope. Yeah, no update that I can find. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with this one. Hopefully we'll get an update soon. But so far, really not much at all. Yeah. No update since the 31st of February. So it's been a few days at least now. Yeah, body not yet been identified, or if it has, it hasn't been made public yet. Yeah, we're early today. How are you? Crickets there. Yeah, very crickety. A lot of crickets. Give me 1 sec. I have to do something for Muffin. Hold on. Actually, yeah, hold on. All right, nothing that I could find. Slipping in late to listen. I appreciate it. By the way, I want to thank my friend Betty C for sending in a donation during the show. I really appreciate that. And thank you, my friend. It is very kind of you. Hold on, I want to see if there is a message. Sometimes we get messages, sometimes we don't. No message, but you didn't have to. It's okay. I know how you feel. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. All right. Let me see if we have anything else here. I think we did this one. Yes, we did. Fox 8. So there was 2 Amber Alerts out of North Carolina last week, and we did cover both of them. They both got resolved in the first day, which was really interesting. They both got done in 24 hours, which is amazing. Yeah, we did do that one. Okay. I just wanted to see if they had new photos of the people that were supposed to be charged over it, but I don't see anything. But if you're in North Carolina, severe risk for central North Carolina, strong thunderstorms possible in the region tonight and tomorrow. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun. All right, let me head back here. Let's see if we have any other updates for Cyclone Alfred. Let's have a look. No, we don't want the pinned one. We've already done that. Okay, we've done that. They say the shocking scene that infuriated locals trying to prepare for Cyclone Alfred. All right, let's have a look. Did someone get their car stuck in the beach? Let's see. Oh no. They say here a driver has been slammed by locals after he drove his ute onto a beach and got stuck in sand as a surging tide brought on by Cyclone Alfred threatened to wash the vehicle away. The man drove through the flooding Currumbin Viking Surf Club car park on the Gold Coast to reach the beach as high tides approached, but then he got bogged within moments of reaching the water and was forced to abandon the vehicle and beg for help. The ute was towed off the beach by volunteers who had been busy building sandbag walls to protect against the predicted flooding. According to the surf club president, He blasted the motorist for causing the potential dangerous rescue operation. They said water was gushing through the club car park, and this guy has just driven straight onto the beach for some reason. You can't help stupidity. The side of the beach he drove onto is like quicksand, and his wheels were well and truly in the water. Here's a photo of where the vehicle ended up. Why? Oh, guys, sorry. Why did that not follow? Normally it follows when we do this. Hold on. I will take you there. Here. There it is. Why did he drive like that and that far out and then expect everyone surrounding him to help him? That is a very stupid thing to do when there is a cyclone bearing down on the region. Look how far out the vehicle is. Like, they should have just given it to the ocean. Just let the ocean have it. That should be his punishment for driving into the beach. Just donate it to the ocean. Ocean, it's yours. Have a free truck. It is for you. A gift. It is a sacrifice. We're committing a sacrifice to the cyclone. Have the truck. That is ridiculous. That person should be charged with being a dumbass. Apparently, the president of the club said weather around his club is getting worse as the cyclone approaches the Queensland coastline. They said we haven't seen the worst of it. It's only going to get worse. Yeah. Actually, my friend sent me a thing. Woos. Unfortunately, I can't use anything with .mov doesn't work in StreamYard, unfortunately. It doesn't play and doesn't upload. So unfortunately I can't use it. Documents, yep. Let me see what it is. Let's go to documents. What is it? 7786, okay. It's your area. Is this your area, Woos? Or where your brother is? Wherever this is, it looks good. Nice and sunshine. But unfortunately, can't play it because .mov doesn't work at with StreamYard, unfortunately. But yeah, look at this. People buying up all the water. No more water left on a lot of the shelves in the supermarket. So you go, people, tourists taking photos of the surf. Let's see what else we have. What else is going on? This is actually pretty good. They have an emergency checklist here. Emergency checklist from Get Ready Queensland. And they say, here is a checklist of recommended items to have in your kit. And they said it should be stored in case you ever need it, like a cyclone. They said water for 3 days. So you need 10 liters of drinking water per person at a minimum. Mobile phone, chargers, and a power bank. Non-perishable food for 3 days. A torch with spare batteries for at least 3 days of use. Gas-powered stove with a spare canister for cooking. Battery-powered radio with spare batteries. Cooking and kitchen equipment. Zip bags, plastic containers, can opener, that type of thing. Sunglasses or anything to protect your eyes. Emergency whistle in case you get SA'd in a cyclone. Wait, no, that's not right. It's so in case you get lost in a cyclone, people can find you. Sorry, I thought it was like those other whistles where, at university the girls will use them. It says here, pet supplies. That's a good one. Make sure you feed your pets even through a hurricane. Some spare tarpaulins and ropes so you can repair your home if needed. They said gloves and spare glasses and hearing aid batteries, rubbish bags, spare clothes that are kept in a water safe, vacuum thing. They say a safety knife, first aid kit, essential medication, include a week of prescription medication and over-the-counter medication, essential toiletries, and have a copy of important documents saved to a USB drive. And what does it say here? Some bedding like sleeping bags or warm blankets or a camping mattress, and spare cash in case payment systems or the internet are down. And then things to keep you entertained like books, cards, games, that type of thing. Yes. So there you go. Pretty good checklist from Be Ready Queensland. Make sure you have everything that you need. It is a good reminder. Yeah, meds if you need any prescription meds. Hey Kelly, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Rachel says, I keep meds in a plastic tub. That's a good idea in case you need to go quickly. You can just take them all in one go. Hold on. Someone's messaging ping. Okay, that's fine. All right. What time are we at? 12:16. We've talked a lot of hurricane or cyclone already. It's almost like speaking in Spanish and English. I have to do American and Australian at the same time. Let's see. Let's go down. Any other new info? No? That's it? That's all they want to tell us? More than 100 schools closed across the region. That's interesting. So, the New South Wales Department of Education has shared a list of 122 schools that have closed. The closures will remain in place for the rest of the week, from Wednesday to Friday. And they say, do not send your children to school for the next 3 days. Our school staff will be on site this morning in case the message is not received in time. Schools are set to resume operation on Monday, so they don't want any children in these affected areas going to school at all. So that's a good thing. All the kids will be very happy to not have to go to their classes. Brisbane City Council shares graphic of possible flood zones. All right, let's have a look. Very similar to the one we looked at, but this one looks to be more exact. So if you see any of this blue here, except for the river, or maybe the river too, any of this blue, if you live in any of these regions, this is where they're expecting the most flooding in Brisbane. So you can see where the majority of it is. All throughout any of these catchment areas, little rivers that flow into the Brisbane River. Even the Brisbane River in places looks to have flooded, especially near the opening up here, near the ocean. You see a lot of inundation up here. So, and especially through here near Aspley and Brisbane Airport and Nunda, lot of flooding. So you can see just how many people might be affected. Yeah, you don't have to go to school tomorrow. Guys, hold on. All right, there we go. Jonna says, we just had a mailing from the electric company that prices will increase. I told you mine already increased. Like I already pay like $250 a month or something. It is expensive in Australia. Yeah, Danny Mitchell, no school for you tomorrow if you live in the cyclone zone. Kaliza said it's hard if you're diabetic because insurance companies won't pay for extra insulin So you have to pay out of pocket and get a special prescription from your doctor to have extra for emergencies. Not here in Australia. In Australia, you can get it, no problem. But I know for you guys it might be different. Jonna said we just had a mailing. That's terrible. Rachel said yes, that's so true. I'm on medication that I can't get any extra as well. Just have to grab what I have on hand. In Australia, they were supposed to bring in a thing where you could get double your prescription for the same price, but I've had them in the last 12 months, and they never gave me double of anything. So I don't know how you get this double medication for the same script, but I've never had it. They've never given me twice as much for the the same cost or whatever. It has never happened. It was supposed to be some big government initiative and never happened. I've never seen it. Mrs. Ping's never seen it, and she gets a lot of medication. So, all right, let me see what I have here. That's very interesting. So apparently, according to the federal government investigation into the death of John O'Keefe in the Karen Reid case has officially been closed, and no charges will be filed against police. That happened a few hours ago. That is very interesting. Let me take you out to WCVB Channel 5 in Boston. Let's do that.
And Antoinette, in addition to the update on the federal investigation, the prosecution is now arguing that the defense should be sanctioned for violating the court's protective order by revealing non-public information. Karen Reid and her defense attorneys are seen here arriving this morning at Norfolk Superior Court, greeted by supporters. Inside court, within the past hour, Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan made two important statements to Judge Cannone. First, Brennan confirms that the federal investigation into John O'Keefe's death is complete. Second, Brennan is now asking the judge to issue sanctions against the defense for violating the court's protective order. The violation came in a defense filing that was not sealed from the public. In other words, it was made public. The defense motion included a message from Trooper Michael Proctor to Assistant District Attorney Adam Lally on July 1st of last year regarding the mistrial that Judge Cannone declared that day due to the hung jury. We will hear first from Hank Brennan and then defense attorney David Yannetti explaining why he did not seal the motion.
There should be a gag order on all of these attorneys, every single one of them. And the Commonwealth will not speak either.
It was an oversight, not an attempt to flout any rules of this court. And while I do ask the court to take my word for that, I do also submit that there is evidence to back up that word.
Yannetti claims the disclosure was unintentional. Just to recap the breaking news, Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan confirms the conclusion of the federal investigation into John O'Keefe's death, and Brennan is asking for a gag order on all attorneys in the case in order not to influence the potential jury pool. Karen Reid's retrial is scheduled to begin in 4 weeks. Reporting live at Norfolk Superior Court in Dedham, Todd Kiskiewicz, WCVB.
Very interesting. It feels like the Karen Reid thing is never going to end. Feels like we're going to be here in 2045 talking about Karen Reid. Rachel said the prosecution is being sneaky with discovery and released videos late last night. Lots more to the case. Yeah, I feel like I said, we're going to be here till we're all old and grey talking about it. Just want to check one thing. I just want to have a look at one thing here. I was just looking for Stephanie Firkins. I was just trying to see if she had anything on her page for Clinton. But no, I don't see anything. If I see anything about Clinton, Bonnell, I'll let you know, or Bonnell, as DJ might tell me it is pronounced. I'll let you know. But right now it's all gone very quiet, like super duper quiet, and I don't know why. Let me take you to the latest update in the cyclone for a minute though.
ABC weather presenter Nate Byrne now. Nate, what is the latest track update for Cyclone Alfred?
And so the last one came in just over an hour ago, Gemma, morning. We're expecting to see the next one in a couple of hours from now. The idea right now is that all of the models are starting to agree more and more. So the error bars are starting to close down around this predicted track. That hasn't changed much in that last update. Still coming into the coast, likely early hours of Friday morning now, and likely right over the top of Brisbane. Although expect a little bit of wobble within that error cone over those updates in the coming hours and day. We're expecting to see it definitely land anywhere between about Maroochydore and Coolangatta now. So because that's narrowed, they've been able to cancel a cyclone watch north from Double Island Point, but there's still that warning from there all the way down to Grafton. And you can see just from this, I've stayed zoomed out a little bit more than I normally would, because you can see the winds, the effects that's having all the way down the coast. Now, we're expecting that conditions will really deteriorate as we get into tonight. Tomorrow, when you wake up, it's going to be pretty gross if you're in that part of the country. So today is the day to make preparations for that early hours of Friday morning crossing.
And Nate, tell us about the other warnings associated with Alfred.
Right, there are a few things going on here. So already we've seen those huge surf conditions that we've got just amazing pictures of. And some surfers have been taking advantage, but dangerous, damaging surf is expected right from Gary's top down beyond Forster along the coast in New South Wales. We're expecting to see waves really causing coastal erosion. We've already recorded waves of 5 metres at Tweed Heads, and that's likely to get worse. Now, there are also warnings in here for damaging winds and heavy to intense rainfall. That goes from north of Gympie in Queensland all the way down to just south of Nambucca Heads in New South Wales. Intense rainfall, that can lead to life-threatening flash flooding, the kind of rainfall that no drains can deal with and just turn into torrents of rushing water down streets. We've also got a hazardous surf warning, and you can see the extent of it all the way down the New South Wales coast at the moment. That's going to cause some concern too. So this system is being felt really quite across a huge distance for the east coast of the country. Rain is going to be the next thing. We'll start to see conditions really deteriorating as we get towards tonight. Now, as the system moves towards the coast, Gemma, it's encountering warmer waters. In fact, waters that put it back into a potential for further development as a cyclone. So it's now likely to stay as a Category 2 on its way in, but the Bureau's not ruling out it slipping up into a low-level Category 3 tropical cyclone. That would make it a severe tropical cyclone. The categories really just rely on the wind speeds, but if it
did make it to a Category 3, and like he says, and I think I said earlier, it would change its designation into a severe cyclone. That would be one, historic. It already is historic for Southeast Queensland, but it would be even more historic that a severe tropical cyclone made it that far south and was able to make landfall, because normally they just jet off into the ocean and disappear or sort of hit further north. They don't normally make it this far south. That's why it's not happened since 1974. It's a pretty rare event. Hey Moonshadow, how are you? Yeah, I heard DJ told me there was a haboob alert out of Texas. So that's pretty rare. Hold on, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, they said there was also possibly a tornado out there. So let's see if I can I don't think I can find it, but I can probably show you a photo. They're saying that there was a big haze out there, like big dust storm. It's hard to see in the photo, but you can see it in the background here, all this dust being picked up. No one got a really cool photo, I don't think, of it. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see anything. Yeah, 5 hours ago, West Texas dust moves into Dallas Fort Worth. Yeah, March 4 afternoon. Let's have a look.
Gosh, it has just been a wild weather day since early this morning. Miraculously, I fell asleep through those entire storms. I don't know how that's possible, and I'm a little concerned.
I don't know how that's possible either, because it was loud. I mean, you could hear the wind through these big concrete walls here. I went out to the front for a second. This was the most distance. So you can see those power flashes in this video. This was the most impressive video, though, and I'm telling you, I posted this on our social media. Turn up the volume. The wind was just howling in this video, blowing stuff around. Just eyeballing it here. This is solid 70 to 80 mile per hour winds in this video. So, and I'm sure the camera doesn't do it justice and never does. Here's a few pictures, though. This one is from Tracy Woodward. Her pool house blew into the pool. We got a few more here. Some trees down. This was up in the Plano area. This is from Ann Elizabeth. This was a very common sight this morning. Whatever that storm last April didn't knock down, that did, and there were plenty of downed trees around the area. This was very impressive. This is from who is this? Alan Redman over in South Lake. Whenever you see trees get snapped in half like this, you know that that wind was the real deal. So
to have trees that broke like that, they're not super big trees, but still it is a tree, and to see them just cracked off about, a few foot off the ground, it's pretty impressive. It must have been pretty good storm out there today. We saw on that gas station footage, like that wind was howling coming in from the west of the state. Let me bring this back up. Yeah, let's play the rest of it. I want to see.
Anyway, widespread reports of those 70 to 80 mile per hour winds. We even have some possible reports of a tornado in Louisville. So if you have any pictures or want to confirm that, please send us an email or send us a message on Facebook and let us know. The Weather Service is going to go check that out, by the way. Here's Collin County, another pole barn blown around out there. So this was a common sight. And we're not done with the wind today. Now, this is going to be non-thunderstorm wind the rest of today, but still, sustained wind of 33 at the airport. Winds are gusting even higher than that. In fact, just before I came on, the Weather Service issued a high wind warning this afternoon. Winds will gust as high as 50 plus miles per hour. So that may blow around more.
It sounds like Texas has its own problems with high-speed wind, just like Australia. Australia's got their own problems apparently with a cyclone. But you guys, that is bonkers out there, and it's really only the start. It really is, because in about a month, the real storm season for the USA will get underway, and then it'll start in Texas, Louisiana, Missouri, and you'll get your nighttime tornadoes and a lot of activity centered around the Gulf. And then it'll move further north into April and May, and you'll get your classic plains storm season. And then later in the year, throughout the summer, it'll move even further north and into Illinois, Montana, South Dakota, even southern Canada. So you guys will have a full-on storm season for the next 4 or 5 months. So Moonshadow said Austin is fine. It was really windy earlier. Now I see a beautiful moon and night sky. Oh, that's good, because it looked bonkers in the video.
Stuff
like when you saw where is it?
this morning. in this video. So, and I'm sure the camera doesn't do it justice. Blew into the pool. Video. But see the power flashes, the wind was whipping around, transformers were blowing in the distance. So
Yeah, and they said that there was even a report of a possible tornado. So a very early season tornado, maybe. Maybe. By the way, I just got an alert. Moonshadow, that was very, very kind of you. I really do appreciate it. It's very sweet of you. Thank you very much for your donation. That is very sweet. Thank you. It is very kind of you. I do appreciate it. Yeah, looks like it's going to be an interesting storm season after a very cold winter for Texas, or at least a very cold last few weeks. Anyway, Blaze says, I have 5 nieces and nephews living right now on Tornado Alley. I worry about them every year. It gets pretty bonkers throughout the plains every year, but at the same time, I know there's some people that do die, but those warning times are getting better and better each year, and the technology is getting better and better for forecasting and nowcasting of tornadoes. So let's hope that continues and less people, get injured by severe storms. All right, let me see what else I have on here. By the way, there was a good documentary that came out for people who like documentaries. A new season of Police Suspect #1 out of the UK is out now, or yes, out now. I love this show. It is a really, really interesting show from the UK, and if you haven't seen it, it is one of the shows I like from the UK because it shows from the beginning of the investigation all the way through to someone being charged. And then they have another one that shows the court process. But this one shows the investigation. So it shows you how UK police, get a call for help, and then they start the investigation, and then they keep going, and then hopefully they are able to arrest someone and charge them. So if you need a good documentary out of the UK. It's called Suspect Number One. Police Suspect Number 1. Very, very one of my favorite ones. I like this type of show out of the UK, and it shows you how they're sort of their investigative process is slightly different to the USA and Australia. Same with the way they deal with criminals. Like they can bail them and they can keep them and they can apply for more time. It works slightly differently to other countries. So if you've ever wanted to get your head around it, they just released season 4, episode 1. So it would be a good watch if you haven't seen it already. Moonshadow says, looking for a UAP. It's on my bucket list to see one. I mean, you're in the right place for it. You're in the right place in Texas where you can see throughout the sky. There will definitely be UAPs out there somewhere. Not as good as New Jersey, but hey, Texas is probably a pretty big attractant to UAPs. DJ's got the moonshine. Got the moonshine on him. All right, let me see if I have anything else on my list that you guys might find interesting. All right. Let me see. I think we have a missing person out of Asheville in North Carolina. Yeah, we do. If I can get this to go away, thank you. It's a pretty short video, but I'll play it.
New at 11, Buncombe County deputies are trying to find Amanda Smith. She was last seen on February 25th at her home. Deputies say Smith's hair is now shorter than what you see right now. She might be wearing a gray top and sweatpants. If you have any information, call the sheriff's office at 828-250-6670.
So, according to the article here, the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office is trying to find Amanda Smith, they said in a press release. Smith was last seen February 25th at her home. BCSO said Smith's hair is now shorter than it is in the photo, and she already has pretty short hair. The sheriff's office said Smith might be wearing a gray top and sweatpants. She might be in downtown Asheville, BCSO detectives believe. The press release said Smith may have trouble recalling where she lives. So if you have seen this woman, I'll try and get a better photo. Hold on. Yeah, that's a better photo. Yeah, there you go. So if you've seen this woman, Miss Smith, Amanda Smith, and you are from Asheville, North Carolina, and you have seen her wandering around, she may not know where she is or how to get home. So let the police know in Buncombe County and try and get her back to safety, because I don't think she's safe just wandering around downtown. Well, I don't know what she'd be doing, but it's not a safe place for people just to hang around for all hours of the day and night. Let me see if I've got. Yep. Okay. All right. Where is that? We have far too many links open now. Ping has like 50 links open, and I'm having trouble finding my. There we go. Yeah. So not much more information other than that about her, unfortunately. Yeah, WSPA. Let's see what they have. They got the same thing, but they describe her as a black woman standing at 5 feet 10 inches tall, has short black hair and brown eyes. They just said the only information they have is gray top and sweatpants, and that her hair is shorter than the photo describes or shows. She may be in the downtown Asheville area. The police said she has health issues, and that can impact her ability to remember where she lives. So may not be able to find her way back to her property on her own. So very, very sad. I don't like to see that about anyone. All right. I don't think we have any Amber Alerts except for Sophia Franklin. She is still listed. She is becoming this year's Sebastian Rogers at this point. Yeah, it is dragging on. 1 month later, yeah. So we're at the 1 month mark for her, and really no new information at all. If we go to WMTTV, yeah, it's still missing.
Joining us on this Monday here at WMTV News at 11, I'm Phoebe Murray, and today marks 1 month since an Amber Alert was issued for the Beaver Dam teenager Sophia Franklin. The Amber Alert for the 16-year-old remains active in Wisconsin, Arkansas, and Missouri. Franklin is believed to be with Gary Day, the father of her unborn child. The two were last seen in Beaver Dam at Franklin's home. There is a warrant out for Day's arrest, and he faces 2 charges of child enticement and 2 charges of child abduction. Franklin and Day are believed to be traveling in a 2014 black Buick LaCrosse. Police believe that Day is switching the license plates on the car. It could have a Pennsylvania plate or an Arkansas plate, but if you have any information, you are urged to contact the Beaver Dam Police Department.
I love the house. I actually like it.
Yep, 1 month since missing. She'll probably be like 4 months pregnant now. They're saying that this 40-year-old man, Gary Day, groomed her and took her from her home in Wisconsin, and he is from Arkansas. She was living with him for a period of time in Arkansas until police raided his property, and they were like, hey, what is a young teenage girl doing here? And they returned her to her family, but unfortunately, later on, a few months later, he went back to Wisconsin, picked her up, and now they are on the run, and she is pregnant with his child. So she needs to be located urgently, and she's already been missing for over a month. Last sighting of them was about a week after they disappeared from Wisconsin, driving through Missouri. But since that point, no one has cited them, at least not publicly, and no further information on any. No one has seen the vehicle, no one has seen her, no one has seen him. It is a very troubling situation. Yeah, very troubling. Jonna says she's pretty how old? She's only 16. No, 17. Sorry. Ping, you got to get the numbers right. She's 17. But in Wisconsin, you have to be 18 or older to give consent to any sexual activity. So she is not she is not old enough to do so. Yeah, she's six. At the time, she was 16, but she was 3 months pregnant. But they're saying she could be 4 months pregnant now, and this is Gary Day. So if you see this guy, report it. If you're in Wisconsin, Arkansas, or Missouri, and you see this man, he is who they believe she might be traveling with, and is the father of her child. Yes, someone is definitely helping them for sure, 100%. There is no way they can do this on their own and not be cited. Someone is keeping them hidden on a property somewhere. I reckon they must be on some sort of property or rural type farm or something where not a lot of people would put eyes on them, at all. So I definitely believe that is what is happening. Top Secretary says, don't know what she sees in him. Me either, but the grooming isn't so much about the looks of the guy, it's about the grooming that the guy does. They can make them feel all sorts of things from their interactions with each other. So I know to us it doesn't make a lot of sense, but to her mind apparently it does. All right, let me see. All right, my lovely friends, I have to wrap it up here, unfortunately, but I might be back a bit later to cover more Cyclone with you after Trish, okay? Moonshadow says, problem is she wants to be with him, going to be hard to find her. I bet they're underground or in Canada. Very possibly, maybe they have jumped the border. People do it all the time. Maybe they've gone north. Maybe they live in Canada. Could be true. Okay, hey, I love you all very much. I'll hopefully be back after Trish finishes her show this afternoon, and we can do more things, more true crime, more Cyclone Alfred, and we'll see what's going on in Queensland at that time. Hey, I want to thank the people who are very, very kind and have supported this channel today. I want to thank my friend Moonshadow and my friend Betty C. And last night when we did that late show, I want to thank my friend Cakespoo. Thank you to all three of you. It is very appreciated. Flying DJ says, I bet they went to Australia. How would they get there? Would they swim or I don't think you could go on a flight. Maybe flying kangaroo. Maybe flying kangaroo. Not the flying nun, a flying kangaroo. All right. Hey, I'll see you all a bit later, okay? See you later. Have fun with Trish in about an hour. Bye. Bye-bye. See you later. See you then. Thanks for coming. Bye.